Alright, so as mentioned, this is where a good chunk of the second half of the game will take place. The laboratory where Svensson was, researching for the algae. And I have to warn you, this is the part where we get the worst, line delivery, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
Enter. The old war horse. Never thought I'd see you around here again. Is that
What
gray in your beard?
This is a control.
Yeah,
visit.
he literally
I was
has a
worried you might
mustache,
steer the
dude.
I get it,
subject
but it's
to an
maybe a
iceberg.
way of
Good
saying,
to see you, Barney.
but I do
Did
wonder
you
if it's
tell
another
Duva I
case
was on
where
my way?
the people who translated
wasn't
this,
exactly happy.
did not
I hope
really
you packed some
knew
velvet
what was
gloves.
going on in the
Didn't
scene.
have much time for packing.
Or if that was
Sounds
just
like
the
an
case where the
interesting story.
original
Who's your
writers
friend?
didn't know what they were doing.
Oh, right. May I introduce Princess Leia?
Huh? What are you talking about?
I told you you're going to get a Star Wars reference.
Get it?
Chose an
Because it
interesting
looks like
time
Mark
for your visit.
Hamill.
Okay.
Get it?
Scheduled a
Because we're like
presentation for business
Lucasfilm.
investors
Here's
today
a
and
weird
tomorrow.
thing.
What about the
You
National
would
Research
think
Funds?
that because
haven't heard yet? I
Vent
thought Duva had
was,
told you at least that much.
decided to quit the job
The research funds were
after having a
cancelled.
neurotic attack,
What?
he would not be
Vent,
welcome
that's a disaster.
to the
Indeed,
to the
it would mean
place,
the end of my work.
and he
It
would
has all
actively
been for
they will actually
nothing.
force him not to
Not necessarily.
participate.
I have a
in
couple
everything.
of investors
But
on the
no,
hook.
they're
Just yesterday, a
surprisingly
real star
okay with him
accepted.
roaming around. In fact, a lot of his
We must
ex-colleagues
talk
are
to
actually
them.
happy to see him,
First, you
which I
must
kind
get
of
through the
get
health
it,
check.
but at the same
And
time, it
afterwards,
feels like something that the
wrapping
game
this
is,
thing up will be a piece of
is
cake.
zigzagging about.
This will be an
instead of
exciting
having
I
some
suppose-
kind of.
Trust me.
The only we will actually see that the only resistance that he has is from his son Duva, and the prologue did foreshadow this by saying the fact that the two have a bit of a clashing type of something going on.
Was
in
the
regards to
original?
why they're okay with him there, like one thing to remember: one, he's a renowned professor.
There,
Two,
Brent, that's it.
if I recall
I'm done.
correctly,
Fine.
that
Is everything
is
all right, Doc?
what
You
they
could say so.
promised
For
they
someone
would
with
get
your
after
medical
they
record,
held the
everything is
convention.
fine.
Pretty much
Retirement
hostage,
agrees
like,
with you.
hey, we'll get Svensson, and that was more or less agreed to. So
retired.
Also,
was a
the game,
nightmare.
don't think
Was a
haven't
nightmare.
noticed the fact that the
tell
medical
me you're
bay
working
area
again. If
is
so, I
infested
have
with
to
crabs.
advise
That's
strongly
terrible
against
for
it.
the
Let's just say
AG.
that my life makes
No,
sense
but-
again,
oh
and I owe
no,
that to Faye
not
here.
crabs.
I see.
I forgot if I already
I
asked
thought you
this.
were trying to save the world.
I get this is the final cut, super duper complete version.
Retirement
Did the
was
original
the best
release
that could
come out in
happen to me.
episodes?
I can go
No,
fishing as
no,
much
no,
as
no,
I
that's
want to.
because,
I can read many
the,
interesting books.
Dedalic
And I
does
have
not operate
interesting
like
talks with my
Telltale.
shrink
Okay.
every week.
While
That
the
sounds much
Tonya
better than
series,
working your
yes,
guts
it's
out and
structured in
spending weeks
different
in the
games, they were
hospital
not
now,
really
doesn't it?
considered episodes, but
You
each of them
think?
a full-on standalone
Let's
game,
talk
kind of like
later,
Monkey
or we
Island,
will be late
basically.
for the
Sure,
presentation.
sure.
Right.
I am, however,
It's
some
your turn now,
update
Miss
news
Faye. You
because
have
I
any
seriously
illnesses I should know
underestimated,
That's none of
the
your
release
business.
date.
Oh, it's
The
very much
original
my
release
business.
date
The
for
decision
the
on whether
original
or not
version
you will
was
be allowed on the
2010.
ring is
The
based on
final
my
cut
expert
was in
opinion.
2012.
Well, I'll
actually.
stay here then. I didn't travel 500 years to have
So it's a
myself
bit even
cut
worse than I
Excuse me,
actually
I don't
thought,
think I
because this
understand.
came out
Faye,
a bit.
you
I
can
don't know if
trust
it's a
the
case
doc.
that
He knows what
after
he's
the
doing.
success of Deponia, they wanted to
All right.
export a bit of a catalog,
no
but did not
hot
have the same
coals.
budget.
And no
Also,
saws.
pay
You
attention to
hear me?
what
Promise.
Faye is saying. The fact
Ben,
that she
if you will
doesn't
wait
want to
outside,
be
please.
examined, medical
This might take a
examined.
while, I'm
But if
afraid.
you remember also from
Yes,
the
Ben,
prologue,
just go.
she all of
I'll
a
catch up
sudden
with you.
had,
I can handle this charlatan by
a
myself.
coughing fit and actually coughed blood. By the way, you can potentially get an achievement here if you keep listening to what the doctor is saying while examining Faye. If you're
That
wondering.
makes sense. Lots of games do reward persistence like
Yeah,
that.
I also checked in the meantime, and
Doctors
yes,
and their paperwork.
to
A
confirm
stamp
something I mentioned in
pad
a
can
previous
become
part,
as
if you
important as a
if you
scalpel.
wipe the data from the data pad in chapter 3, you do get an achievement for
people
that.
who
So
can
it is
produce
there just
such a
for
scrap of
funsies, I
paper
guess.
are allowed on the
Also, technically, he can probably look into where
doc
they
have
are
already
behind that
completed
curtain
it.
since he
Only
only
the
pulled the
seal
curtain
is missing.
But
horizontally,
don't you
not
see, Joe, but the
vertically.
player does not see them, therefore it's perfectly fine. It's the equivalent
course.
of that. It's kind of like those movies that the character are supposed to be
stares
seeing
at the
something,
doc
but because
like he
the
is
camera
going to
isn't
kill
panned
her, but he
yet
just
to
wants to
the
test
back,
her
to the
knee reflex.
foreground, it counts as they haven't seen
Doc,
anything.
I need a stamped
It's like in
certificate
Resident
from
Evil
Barney.
2
Let me
when
attend the
Ada is
presentation.
suddenly
You will get
confronted
it
by
as
the
soon as I
doctor's
finish
wife,
examining your
even though
Hey, what did you write?
logistically she should have
Will
been
you
right
please
in front
refrain
of
from
her
squeezing your
before
eyes
she
shut?
reacted.
I have to check your pupils.
No.
Again, Faye is surprisingly
This is going to
hostile
take a
towards
while.
medical
If I want to be on time
examinations.
for the
Very weird.
presentation, I'd better find another way.
Also, I'm getting a bit of a... Okay, first of all, to mention, what we need to do now is to actually have the
The
health
stamp pad is
certificate
completely
properly
dry.
stamped so
My
we can
skin
roam
is more
around.
moist than
But
this
apparently, because the doctor is too busy with Faye and doesn't have like a literal minute to put a stamp
There's the
on,
cabinet
you know,
with
we
the
have to do
patient
the work
records. Mine is
ourselves.
in there too.
Good old forgery.
And from
What kind of health system is this?
from Norway, I guess.
Fast.
Well, not 1980s technically, so I can't believe it would still be a bit antiquated. Also, if you notice from the inventory from the helicopter, we have taken the electric membrane that Faye instead used in the previous chapters. This will be useful for later.
There's the cabinet with the mine is in there.
What we need to do now is classic point-and-click weird shit, as in, you know, something that feels logical in universe, but really makes you question once again the protagonist, you know, when you get down to it. As noted, the ink is completely dry, so we cannot actually put the stamp
Looks like
ourselves
one of the
for
vaults
now.
you see in murder mysteries. One of those
Literally,
where they
Doc.
store the
All you have to do is
corpses.
just reach over
Ah,
here
wow.
and sign this.
Duva painted the
I'm surprised
upper
it took
one
this
a
long to
time
get
ago,
that
but
joke
not
out.
The lower one.
Ooh, blood samples. Yoink.
Basically.
Stealing blood from a doctor
We'll just
shouldn't
take
be
one.
the other way around.
Hilarious.
We're the good guys.
So whose blood is
Nice
it?
sight. There's a name
Honestly,
on
Joe,
it,
like
too.
Chris, it's not
Wallstrom.
Chris's.
Mads. Ha.
To be perfectly honest,
the
Ljova, I don't
doctor's
think there's such a thing. I'm having trouble even figuring out who's supposed to be the quote-unquote good guy.
So
of this
yeah,
story.
we're
drastic
using
measure.
the doctor's
Time is short.
blood on the inkpad to stamp on the document. Here's hoping the doctor
Morbid,
doesn't have any particular,
worked.
you know, blood-related disease that can be transmitted.
Signed in blood. If
It's
that
supposed to
isn't
be a
hell of
contact.
deal.
Like,
Dude.
I mean, I get it. Time may be of the essence, but could we not have just waited for the doctor to be done with
It's probably
Faye?
because they wanted to have a cheap gag about signing a document in
peachy,
blood.
Vance?
Yes, Pedro?
Where's your companion?
She'll be a while.
Dude,
too bad.
like,
Presentation's
are you
almost over.
do you
You have
honestly
health
even
certificate.
think before you act at all?
My god, I don't even know, Pedro.
Here, Barney, that should be all. May I enter now?
Okay. Name's on it. Stamp
In
is
case you're
ready.
wondering,
All right,
this other
time
guy
for your
was,
big
if you
comeback.
remember from the initial painting that we saw in the prologue,
Nervous?
this
Should
guy
I be?
was
Well,
basically
it's been 2
Vance's,
years since you last
you
saw
know,
your
best
son.
friend
Oh,
when we were still
nonsense. I'm
working.
not nervous.
So that's why he's still... Again, I understand
Yes.
that he's more
Could you go
amicable
ahead,
to
please?
him,
This
so I don't
little
have a problem
do-gooder
with that.
needs to visit the restroom first. What? I just need to pee. I'm not
Like,
nervous.
I guess
Sure,
to the
Ben,
credit of
sure.
the story, when Faye held the convention at hostage, it was agreed that they get some incense. So I guess this is
Which
them
is why
honoring the
they have
deal.
this meeting about investors,
trying to be
including
polite here.
Indes.
What you just told us is ripe with trivial generalizations and esoteric hocus pocus. We know that our oil reserves will be used up one day. We are aware
Yeah, it's
that we will need to
basically
find
like
a way
that.
to
We
fill
have
the
a
holes this will
couple
rip
from
into the
Canada.
energy supply.
We'll actually
We
get
also know
descriptions
that
later,
some
but we have a
nuts
couple
will
of
be worried
Canada
about
on
the
the right.
climate whenever
One,
you
the
try
guy looks,
offering
that
them
looks like
workable
Colonel
solutions.
Sanders, by the
What we
way.
don't know is
Indes,
why on earth
an Arabian
you
tycoon,
What
and another guy that I
miraculous
forgot where he's
technology are
from.
you talking about when you claim to be able to solve all this planet's problems in one stroke?
Thank you for the cue, Mr. Indes. I am talking
Yeah,
about
Duva
technology
here,
that doesn't
Vance's
produce
son,
emissions.
like I said, has a
One that
lot
can
of
be
daddy
replicated
issues which will be
easily and that can be
confronted
grown
in these
every
parts.
household. It is effective enough to...
Let me guess. Oh, right
and
on
out of
time.
nowhere, Vent barges in and basically, it is about to see, takes
I
all of the
understand
entire,
you
you know,
Your
presentation.
miracle plant will grow in every consumer's garden?
Yes. The magic
Excuse me,
word
are you
is
supposed to be here?
reproduction. A small
Yeah,
installation
again,
Well, yes.
I
The
get even this place
signature
might not
says
have
so.
security
Energy
in
for the
some kind of
household.
fashion, but
It is
come
an
on.
autonomous and
Is this from the
ecological
same
energy.
people who
The process
manage the
is called
hospital in
electrolysis.
Glass?
He means
Like-
hydrogenase.
Or the one in the Book of Henry, I
The process
guess.
is
Or,
called
I should say,
which means that
no, it was a
sound
mental
material
hospital. Yeah, it was.
convert
Okay.
light, air,
Mhm.
and water into high-energy oxygen. The degree of efficiency of the energy output yields values around 0.08%.
What? That's wrong. It's 0.8%.
This game really has a
you want to give
fascination
a
from
lecture,
people
Father?
interrupting speeches and thinking that, they should be listened.
Maybe we can cut this embarrassing family drama short. The question I ask myself is, what kind
Thank
of
you.
business model do you have
Keep in mind, Pedro, Indus is supposed to be the bad guy.
Like no one here wants to give away energy for free, right?
I actually discovered something more about
consumer needs the
possibly the
technology
reason
to-
why this game was made. Look, so
I don't know.
Magic the Gathering
and
Arena.
dissipate the hydrogen. Fuel
But,
I don't.
cell conversion
I don't. I don't know.
maintain,
Sorry.
But I'll have to
that's
save
all there
them
is to
for
say on
the end of the
business
game
aspect of
where
our
it becomes
presentation.
basically
I
everything
suggest we
clear.
take a
Go on,
short break.
Pedro.
Afterwards, we can
I don't know,
jump right into
Ignis.
the calculations.
would like to see this
Goku at the end of
bacteria in
GT was able to convince the entire universe to give them a shit ton of energy for free.
And then we will talk about the
Also, it's
calculations.
again, it's
Reconvene at 2
Indes.
o'clock sharp.
It's
Thank you.
That's it.
yeah, South America. I don't know if it's Brazilian Portuguese or Argentinian
That was
Spanish.
something.
I don't know.
And where has Duva disappeared to? The least he could say was hi.
Please don't hold it against him. It's all the excitement about the presentation. And then his father appears out of the blue. He is a bit overwhelmed.
He shouldn't blame himself. He did well. I am more worried about this Indes.
Emilio Indes is
So
a
I
businessman.
think I see
He
the
needs to ask
drama
these
here.
kinds of
His
questions.
son's trying to
No, my
help
gut
out.
tells me that he's
And
planning
well,
something.
the son
And I
already
won't
had a
leave
bit
this
of an
room before I've
estranged
found out
relationship with
exactly
the
what it
father,
is.
since from what I recall, he seemed to hint that focusing too
Still
much on his
water,
work
much
led
healthier
to
than wine cooler
his
and
relationship
champagne.
with his kids kind of disintegrating.
Let me
And
put it
that's
this
why he
way.
was kind of off the job.
Still
Let me put it this way: this game is made in Europe, which means
Barney
that
pretends not to be
and the
worried,
Indes
but I
name
know
ends
him
with a
well
Z,
enough to see through
and
his
Portuguese and
act.
Brazilian names typically don't end with the letter Z, which
bottle
means
opener.
it's probably
Next to
just
it,
meant to be
A
Spanish.
water bottle with a screw cap. Good to
I
know
see.
some people think ahead.
Although, wouldn't that be a brilliant scheme? He's from Portugal, but is using Brazil as a place for a
Pistachios,
shell
much
company.
better
It
than
might
jellies.
be
You mean Spain?
It might be more, Jova, it might be more, poignant the fact
bit
that
dry, but
it might be
tasty.
from, let's say, Argentina or Peru. It's not very
Barney,
uncommon
can I
that
ask
people
you
from
something?
different
Sure,
places of
shoot.
South America, migrated to nearby
What is
states.
Indes doing here?
He was at the
That's
climate
true.
Meaning that
conference
there
in
is a bit of
Oslo.
an
I guess
intermingle
that's where he
between,
heard about our research.
different
In any
names.
case, he called me right after the conference to make an appointment.
This man is one of the biggest polluters on the planet.
I know, but if he's our only investor in the end,
Then we will be selling our souls to the devil.
There you go. Now, if I recall correctly,
I
we're
know
about
you don't like to hear this, but I can't
ask
stress
about
it
each
enough.
of the people
Sometimes
present.
you have to compromise if you want to do good.
Who are those two at the table over there?
Mr. and Mrs. Wagner, from Wagner and Wagner, in Vancouver.
They came all the way from Canada?
Not quite. They were on vacation at a fjord when they heard about the presentation.
Well, I hope they don't see this as a day trip. The last thing we need is tourists.
What we need are people with money, and those two have money to burn.
We're only over.
Please,
Sorry,
be
Canadian
nice to
accent. We're only over here, you know.
Who's the man in the white outfit?
That's Saeed
That's
Janji.
not
He
Canadian,
is
I
the chief
know.
accountant of one of
You know,
the
I've
largest
been-
oil
I've been
tycoons
to
in the Middle
Canada.
East.
Heck,
Just an
Fallon's
accountant?
Canadian. I
How
have
much
definitely
say
heard
can
some
an
Canadians
accountant
with that
possibly
accent.
have?
His
But
boss
I've heard
wanted to
just as
come
many
himself at
Canadians
first,
who
but
you
he
could
had to cancel
honestly
on short
mistake for
notice.
American with how
Man,
they
times
speak.
are tough.
Is it
Beggars
true that
can't be
Canada
choosers.
is actually
That's
8
great.
bit and it's full of dire wolves?
Of
Who's
course.
the man in the yellow vest and tie?
His name
Truly,
is
the
Mike
story of
Zimmer.
Anne of
He's
Green
doing an
Gables was
internship
supposed to
with
be
us.
an 8-bit
Is he any
RPG.
good?
Hard to tell. He just walks around most of the time, taking notes. If I didn't know better, I'd say he's doing research for a novel.
Sure. Who would want to write a story about guys like us?
Keep that line in mind.
point.
It will
But
become
you know as well as
potentially
I
interesting
that crazy
later.
people can be found
Now, someone
everywhere.
writing a game about us.
I better
That's
get on
where
with
I see the
things.
possibility.
Alright, in the meantime, we did collect a Boer War. So mine was next, but they had
My old telescopic pointer.
also a pointer, which is used for presentations, obviously.
And it's his, which means I guess
On
his
with it.
son was using that.
Pass.
Mhm.
That
I mean,
fits
it was
perfectly.
it's more a thing of, oh, I used it all the time, but it's part of the,
Smelling lab
the
air
place.
is better than the
Also,
fountain
that's
of
what she
youth.
said.
I've already started inventing new tools.
So yeah, we combine it with the bottle opener, and there you go. We obtain an elongated, kind of hook that we
Looks
can
like a
use
cross between
just in a
naive
second.
tourist and unscrupulous businessman.
They are literally right there, dude. Holy cow.
Jova, they're
violent
Canadian. They don't
junkie
know
charmer.
anything. Of course, we just listen to
The
them.
curtain
We're
controls.
gonna talk with them in a second.
It's stuck. So what do you think about the bacteria?
I think it's taking much too long. I want to see something.
Please, have a little patience. You will get to see something right after the break.
Good. I don't have all day, you know. My wife and I are expected on a
That
whale watching
definitely
tour
sounds
later
like a
today,
German
and
trying
I
to
don't
do
want to miss that under any
Some
circumstances.
accent.
You will not regret the wait, I promise.
He's doing
We'll
an
see.
accent. What accent is that? I don't know.
But yeah,
Do
this
you
Canadian
like the
couple is
presentation
basically a
so
bunch
far?
of snooty
Oh,
people
yes,
who
it's
don't know
very
anything.
nice.
Again,
I
that's the way they are
particularly
presented.
liked
It's
the
just...
helicopter ride.
I really don't know what
I,
kind of,
I
type
was
of
talking about the
satire the
cyanobacteria.
game is trying to tell.
Does the
Like,
technology
rich people
convince you?
don't
There is
understand the
supposed to be a
danger of a
live
situation.
presentation
Yeah, I
after
can
the
see
break.
that, I
If
suppose.
that is as good as the trip here, your chances are good.
Do you expect
She
to
sounds like a
Um,
German
yes.
trying to do a
Is-
French
You can
accent.
impress us,
Is that-
and
is
we'll
that
get our
Gladys?
money.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
this,
so-
unfortunately, no.
To
This
be
is the
fair,
lever
British
for the
and
window.
French accents are apparently a thing in Canada.
Well, yeah,
That
being
said-
being annexed, mixed colony, that's why.
I don't
That being
believe
said,
it.
why do I get
do
the feeling that that was
loudest
not the
fledglings in
intent of the
world
voice
have to live next to
direction?
this window?
Alright, what we need
As
to do
long
is
as
to
they
find a
are
way
making
to
all
leave this
that
drop
ruckus,
of
I
what
won't
Indes
understand a
and the
single
tycoon
damn
are actually
word.
talking about. So opening the window is a first step, but as
What
the
are
vent
those two
mentioned,
whispering
there's
about?
some annoying bird outside.
I don't believe
Oh
as
no, I
long-
can't listen past a bird.
That's easy. Diaz can get his shotgun like in GTA Vice City and just shoot the fuck out of them. That can work.
Jesus.
Unfortunately,
Reminds
we
me
will
of-
be discreet.
That's one of the more underrated characters in GTA. It's like, no more pigeon shit on my car, hey Tommy.
Reminds me of
What do
that
you think
episode
about
of
the
Dexter's
presentation,
Laboratory
Mr.
that
Indes?
implies
Do you
Dee Dee
think
shoots
this
a bunch of
blue-green
birds that are
algae is a
keeping
good
Dexter up with a
investment?
shotgun.
This cabbage? No way. But I could have told you that before.
Cabbages.
Like I said,
What are
Indes is literally a Captain Planet villain. In fact, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself about one way this game is usually referred to is basically Captain Planet having a midlife crisis.
I honestly wonder if
Go
the
on,
makers
don't
or
mind me.
whoever greenlit
What
this game
nuisance are
was
you
a big
talking
fan
about?
of Captain
Oh
Planet.
no, Joe, I'm pretty sure they were a fan of something else, but like I said, towards the end. And before you ask, Weebs, yes, even worse than the actual midlife crisis that Ted Turner had.
That's the thing too. If this was a Captain Planet villain, he would be voiced by a celebrity that Ted Turner has dirt on.
What do you want?
You know,
was
I
good
get
with
it.
kids.
I'm sure Ted meant well with the decisions he made
There
in
you
the
go.
entertainment
Like
industry,
pistachios?
but
There you are.
my God, the stuff he made.
Good.
There you go.
It's the
By
villain. Sorry.
By feeding the snacks to the bird, they shut up. Now we need to find a way to close the curtain, and we're good to actually listen. Go on, Pedro.
No, the intentions themselves are fine. It's the execution that's all. Like I said, like we've talked about Page Master, right? Like where it's nice, noble to try to teach kids to read. The problem is you show all these characters without any context and don't present any reason why kids should care about these characters. There you go. There's this character. We're not going to explain who he is or why you should care.
Oh,
but
dear.
there he is.
Do you
Okay,
want to
for
climb on
the,
that
the
chair?
okay.
Yes,
In order
why you
to allow
ask?
us to use
Well,
only
I
a
thought you
tool
were
to
a
actually,
gentleman,
resolve a
a man
situation,
with
the game is
distinction,
having this
someone
kind of
I and my
patronizing
husband
moment
would
where
have
Vent
liked to support
wants to get up on a
financially.
chair in
Even
order
a
to close the
gentleman has to
curtain,
climb on
but the
chairs
Canadian
from time
woman
to
is
time.
chastising
Please,
him
let's
for
not
it, and
argue.
he has to comply
I said
because
my
otherwise they
mind.
pull away from
You
the
do
funds.
what you want
Like,
with
what
that.
the fuck?
Unless I want to scare off
Somebody
our
was feeling
investors,
preachy
I'd
in the
better
writing
find a
booth
Look,
that
solution.
day.
as the news about the movie and video game industry has shown us these
The
days, yes,
philosopher's
investors
stone,
are probably
a
the
bottle
worst
opener on a
people in the
pointer.
world besides lawyer, if I had to guess, But come on, again, this is cartoonish. This is borderline cartoonish.
Like, I mean, also Pedro.
All right, now
I
we
don't know
can
what you're
eavesdrop.
Worried the algae could destroy the energy market?
If a flower power energy everyone could grow on his balcony really existed, then yes, I would be worried. But this cabbage couldn't supply enough energy for a toaster. I'm just worried that these idiots in Oslo might see it differently.
And what do you plan to do about it?
What every good businessman
Yeah,
would
to be
do.
fair,
I'm going
in
buy
this
it.
plan,
I will put some cement
to be
on
fair,
it.
yes, in this plan
Now,
has actually some
don't
merits,
rest
and
easy.
it's not without
That's where I get
precedent.
off, after all. Bon voyage, Dr. Svensson. Arrivederci, Echo Power. And the best thing is, as long as no one else is interested in it, I will get it at a bargain price.
The pig.
Well, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
it's
the
different
break
from
is over.
having
If you'd be
possession
so
of an
kind to
MP.
return to your
It's more of
seats.
a case of preventing an invention from being invented. A person that
We will
I know
commence
that
live
talked about this
presentation of our
game,
technology
you know,
now.
mentioned
As
that
you can see,
apparently
our
Kodak
assistants
did something
provided
like
some
this
algae
to,
specimen.
you know,
Dr.
delay
Spencer,
as much as
if you would.
possible the
Of
invention of
course.
the digital camera,
means me.
apparently.
That is
Let me
true.
do
That
it.
is
I've
true.
worked on
I
that
mean,
Just
technology
because,
for
oh no, we
years.
need to
I
protect
know
their
how to get the
precious film,
maximum
and look
possible
how that
result.
turned out.
Yep.
Well then,
Well, where once the
proceed.
kings of industry are nowhere near the top now.
Alright, it's time for the presentation, but unfortunately, as we were about to
There's
actually
something heavy
look,
on the hose. No wonder
almost
the
everything in this
generator isn't
presentation
working
is
properly.
wrong. It's like if Duva didn't even bother to actually present it correctly. Before you asked,
generator
no,
gets
it's
enough
the
H2
Index
now.
did not really sabotage this. This is how Duva actually presented it.
I was
just
about
incompetence.
maybe Duva's just not great with presentation.
Possibly, I
brilliant.
guess.
The algae needs
He's
light,
brilliant in
gonna-
some
water,
avenues
and
of
air
life,
for
but not all of
successful
them.
hydrogenase.
You gonna say something to me, Dejova?
Let's freshen up the
Also,
algae a bit.
Pedro, I don't know what you're talking about. The moral page master was clear to me. Read so that you can learn to stand up for yourself and not be afraid of
algae needs-
statistics, or an evil librarian will trap you in a
Well,
world where you will
algae
constantly
has light and
almost
fresh
be
water,
murdered and
and the gas
killed.
can
I think
freely flow
I think
into
the
the
nostalgia critic said
generator.
best at the end of this review. The only way this movie can make kids want to read more is if the
Can you
parents
really not
threaten
see
to
the
play it again if
genius
they
in this
don't.
performance?
The only thing I see is slime in a fish tank.
Oh, okay,
Dr.
now it seems that it's
Spencer,
working,
since
but
no
the
one
algae
else
is not
seems
really
interested
powerful
in it,
enough,
I
even
would like to buy
Ransom,
the
you know,
slime.
noticed
Stop.
that.
Just a second. I
So
forgot
we
something.
need to
The presentation isn't
do
over
something
yet.
typical for
Well,
a
I can
technical
hardly
game
wait.
and cheat, in a way. Remember, we have the membrane.
We need to
Okay.
really make this
I'll
thing
put the
work
battery
well
in the
enough
net.
so that more people aside from Indes want to buy it. Because if Indes buys it, it's game
This
over.
So
works.
let's see
I
if
will
this
believe
membrane
every
actually
word Faye
works.
said.
All right, let's see.
Well,
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
What have you done?
geez, yeah, the Canadian guy really looks like
I just
Colonel
wanted-
Sanders.
Was that the nitrogenase you were talking about?
Who would have thought that 0.8% can be that explosive?
Oh my
I'm sorry,
God.
the AI
Why
chip
did
that
you
is
get
powering
Trust
my
me, Pedro,
robot seems to
this
be
is not.
malfunctioning.
I swear to you, this is not the worst line reading.
Oh no.
I'm
I'm with Jova. That was an AI just now.
And,
Clearly.
You know, actually, what I reminded
How do you
of that
oversee
one of the early Terminal Montage video about the Monster Hunter, which has you know, someone having to play an old woman. You know, that kind of voice impression reminded me of that. Some people are
My
that
old-
series.
Want to get some rest.
My old lady voice is more convincing than that.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, Faye has managed to get away from the doctor, I guess. But she's still receiving some
Delvin, what
temporal
are you talking
distortion on
about?
her
What
tablet.
attack?
Wait, that's Delvin, though.
Crap.
Unfortunately,
Something's wrong with
unfortunately,
the
this
antenna.
cord hasn't been
I thought
optimized
you
for
wanted to install it on the
time
helicopter.
traveling
Oh,
connection.
no, I hope he didn't break it.
That
I
means,
better go
however,
check on it.
the signal is jammed, which means that this entire section with Faye is spent trying to boost up. As you can
Somebody
imagine,
wrote
being a
me
point and
message.
click game, we have to
Welcome
do
the
that,
research
do this,
station Atlas 11, home of the
while
internationally
at the same
recognized
time
Stenson
making the
Hendrix
life of the actual
cyanobacteria
radio operators
meals,
here
as well
miserable.
as coffee and cake
Goodness
are served around the
gracious.
clock
Again,
in our wonderful
classic point and click
cafeteria
logic.
on the first floor. If you want to make a continental call, please contact our radio operator on the roof. If you need anything else,
Why we
please
put our
contact
radio
me,
operator on the roof
Barney Flint,
is
second
anyone's
floor.
guess.
To be fair,
Stern
it is
Moose
the best
door.
place for
Just
reception.
knock. On behalf of the team,
True,
Duke
Keep
80s
also
and
Johnson
all
and
that.
Lisa
keep also in
Hendricks,
mind that
I
again,
wish you a
this
pleasant
research
stay
lab
and
is
many
using a
informative
reconverted
hours.
oil rig,
Sincerely,
so
Barney
it wasn't
Flint,
an ideal
Managing
place to be
Director.
built
How
to
nice.
begin with.
Wow, there's room for 5 Fays.
Okay.
Wow, I should try again.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Instead of enjoying the sun, they put the desk in the darkest corner. Oh well. At least they already get used to life in a bunker this way.
We've gone through this. It's apparently clear that the woman was not given context for what individual lines
Pity.
were
A
delivered
view of the
in.
oil rig. I'd
I mean,
love to see
forget
more
context. He sounds robotic and neutral. Like, did they actually direct her to sound like this the whole time?
Well, here's the thing, Jova. Like, it's kind of hard for the actress to properly deliver the correct emotion if the director doesn't tell her shit.
On the bridge.
That's true, but it sounds like she's not trying for any particular emotion.
I can also tell it's probably something that Germany is not super accustomed to because, for better or worse, because, you know, it can be potentially a problem. A lot of voice acting for foreign products, particularly video game, in my country is done kind of this way. The voice actors do not have a video reference, but most of the time they do have the script. Thankfully, unlike in this case, we seem to have generally just a good, you know, good directors who tell them what the inflation should sound like.
Yeah, that's why we have. That's why we have Ryan Drummond saying, "Watch out, you're gonna crash." Because like it's abundantly clear that the voice director didn't tell Ryan the rhythm of how that line was supposed to go.
Like,
you know?
see, the difference between that and this is like, yeah, that acting bit is bad, but at least it still sounds like a Sonic who at least sounds like he's trying to sound shocked. Like, that was her just going, wow, she didn't sound sarcastic, she didn't sound excited, she just sounded completely neutral. Like,
well, again, a better example from the same game, Jova, would be Knuckles. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
yeah.
Which, yeah, same guy who gave us Jansen from
Lost Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey.
Okay, here's another example from Sonic Adventure 2. If you're playing as Rouge in the final fight against Knuckles, and Knuckles' line is, "Hand over those Master Emeralds. Give them to me." Like, could nobody tell Scott Dreyer to sound like you're supposed to be angry at her?
Well,
like,
as we discovered, I get the idea because he said the opposite. Yuji Naka probably told him to sound like that.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, with Adventure 2, we know...
Oh boy, here we go. Here's another character that they slapped in Nigel's voice actor and doesn't even remotely sound appropriate for it.
Never seen a microwave oven?
Microwave oven?
Yar, matey.
What? Use it to radio?
But I wouldn't put an antenna in there if I were you. The place might explode, and that wouldn't be savory.
Yes,
he
you're right.
sounds like he's going for French,
No,
Russian,
he's supposedly trying Nordic accent because, you know, we're in Norway after all. But again, it just doesn't work.
You know...
See, this would work better if it was something like in a Ni no Kuni game, or even if it was a Reaper from Toei. But like, this is supposed to be a more serious tone game. So it's, like, that's much more grounded in reality.
Alright, thanks for some, you know, food culture learning. Rakfisk is a typical, you know, dish from the northern states, like Norway or Sweden. It's usually similar a bit to smoked salmon, but it's slightly different.
Thanks.
I love how he just had the apple pie right there and ready.
Yeah, but again, keep in mind, Pedro, this is a place that, you know, it's isolated from the war, so it's more of mostly a case where they get, you know, refurbishments from, you know, pre-made stuff, like, you know, frozen stuff that gets eaten.
Excuse me, you may not enter.
Why not?
The presentation is for investors and
my
oil
God.
rigs.
And again, like, I swear to you guys, this is not the worst it gets, but we're close.
I'd
rather look around a bit.
It literally looks like, it sounds like the actor is having trouble reading the script.
Okay. Let's assume these are the same actors who did the German dub, since our assumption
I
seems
actually
to be
don't
that these
know.
are...
I actually don't think so. It's been a while since I listened to the German dub, but they don't really sound the same most of the time.
I guess in that regard, they may have tried to find actors who could sound for how the characters
Like I said,
would
Jova, probably
in
German
English.
people who have English as a second language.
True,
Alright,
that's
here's the
probably
radio
right.
operator.
Oh, hey ho, what can I do for you?
This guy is a creep, as you're about to hear in a second.
Wait, you came here with Ben Svensson, didn't you?
Yes. Why?
Are you related or something? Is he your uncle?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just...
No, actually, I don't know. Elaborate, big shit.
Was he about to try and make a pass at her?
Either that or, you know, implying that, you know, her and Svensson might be in a relationship, which, again, I can consider in advance, the game really doesn't go there. So I'm actually glad for that.
She's young enough to be his daughter.
I'm
I mean,
sure
unless he's
reception will be
assuming
great with
Svensson's having a midlife crisis.
It's actually very common in Europe to have a lot of May-December relationships,
Augie
Jova.
is reading a book with many small pictures in it.
People in Europe are much more open-minded to people who have long age gaps being in a relationship, as long as it's legal.
Okay, it's a bit zigzagged in my country. It's understandable usually for the common people, but usually when it happens to celebrities and politicians, people see it as just, you know, usually not a political move, but something similar to that. As in, there's no real romance there, and it's very artificial.
Basically, business.
Yeah.
Other signals? Some waves?
But what kind of waves?
Other radio waves, maybe?
Seriously, I can't read for saving my life all these subtitles. I don't even know what Shiro will be able to see with these.
It's weird.
How would I know what kind of waves
okay,
could be
first
the
and
problem?
foremost, I get it. It may be a different shade of red, but you still used a red border for red
That's
text.
easy. You look for a big antenna and tap it. I even have a cable.
I don't know, something about how this red is shaded makes it feel like the words are smudged.
Shouldn't the borders always be black? Like, isn't that how it usually works?
That's the thing, Pedro. If you look at the other subtitles, they do have, you know, light
I know.
Well, again, it still manages to work. A light shade inside and a darker shade outside, even if it's not necessarily black. So usually that, and while it's applicable also to all these subtitles, they pick the two different shades of red that are very similar to each other.
Yeah,
and
like,
keep in mind, this is applicable to all languages, so it's not a problem for the English version.
Superpowers and beat up
it
the
would have
dead
made
guys?
sense if they at least chose, you know, a more different shade of red, but yeah, no, those two shades of reds are way too
But
similar.
if the inside was, for example, pink, oh, someone is playing Prey. If the inside was pink, honestly, it would make more sense.
I'm
It would
sure
be
Doc
probably more
Svensson has
readable,
everything
actually.
well in hand. They're probably partying right now and throwing confetti on them.
Yes.
Basically, what we need to do, as Augie suggested, is to connect the radio antenna with the big one, you know, and to try to make the radio operator stop what he's doing.
It went real fast until the cubes. Really, man? Who came up with that crap?
Too true. The cubes are horrible.
I don't know, I still don't think it was that hard of a puzzle. Sorry, game.
No problem.
See you later.
Yep.
What a lovely exchange.
What was it that I had to do with the antenna?
You'll need to connect a second receiver to your antenna. And if Augie's right, and Augie's always right, you'll have more power to transmit.
So what do you do when Augie's wrong, Augie?
They wouldn't reach all the way to the radio station.
So let's connect the cable here,
cable
but
is much
as
too
noted,
short.
it's too short. So what we can do is to use the beams of the stairs, which I guess since they're metallic, they allowed radio waves to pass. Look, I know jack shit about radio, so I have no idea if there is some truth in television or
I
this is
connected
complete
the metal
bullshit.
ramp to the time radio antenna.
There we go.
It's about 15 feet between the antenna and the ramp.
Now we need to, if I call... Okay, here we go. Now we need to actually divert the attention of the radio operator.
Are you transmitting right now?
Why do you ask?
Could you stop doing that for a moment? You are interfering with my signal.
You bet. Your colleagues?
Oh my
right?
god!
Oh, you're not? I just thought, well, because you're traveling together.
Would you please answer my question?
Sure. What was it again? How did you two meet?
Please.
I'm guessing this is supposed to be funny.
My signal.
But
it was just a harmless question.
I'm really assuming that this guy is.
Your signal interferes with
I don't
mine.
know if he's
So would you
hitting on
please
her,
stop
but holy cow!
Like I said, he's
Can't
still
do that.
kind of a creep for asking
Lou
these
from the
very
other oil
personal
rig.
questions.
We have some important things to discuss.
Like, mind your own beeswax.
Until noon break.
When will the noon break begin?
It just has. But Lou and I lost track of time, and we still have so much to talk about. I can't just up and leave.
Why do I
Svensson
feel like you're
and
just doing this to be a
You
dick?
aren't colleagues, and you aren't related.
Oh my god.
Why don't
Because
you
it's only
take
your
your
Why are
fucking
you asking all these
kisses.
questions about me and Bent?
Why? I'm just curious. That ain't a crime now, is it? Not much else going on this rig anyway.
Oh, so you're just bored.
Alright,
brought you
guys,
something to
get
eat.
ready.
Oh.
We are about
really?
to get to the worst
Breakfast.
line
Enjoy.
reading.
All right.
Whoa, my favorite. Hey, Lou, gotta go. Lunch is here. You can tell me later. I'm starving here.
Here we go.
Later. Yum. Fantastic.
Oh.
Yum.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Okay. I don't care what context you have. It's yum.
He seems to have forgotten
Typically,
about me. Well,
yum
even better.
has some feeling put behind it. Like
Jesus
this
Christ.
feels
Synchronized the radio
okay. This feels
transmitter
like
with
how
the-
you would act if you're acting as somebody who's terrible at acting.
Like, we need to be intentional. Holy
Hello?
shit. Anyway,
Still no
however,
reception.
we still have no reception because, while this was more hinted by both Augie and the chef, the microwave is actually interfering, believe it or not. So here's what we do. If you noted from the dialogue with the chef, the pie is actually frozen. Is not frozen, but still cold. But it can be heated in the microwave. And from the, I think from the bathroom of the place where Faye was, we got a metal file. So here's what we're doing.
The file
We
fits
stuff it into the
pie
pie,
perfectly.
and then we're gonna make the microwave explode by putting that inside. With the chef not
You know-
knowing.
What do you want?
You know, are we becoming
pie's still
terrorists
cold.
at this point?
Again, Joe, but this is not very common for point-and-click game, like I told you.
That is true.
More so in Monkey Island. Again, we've seen this thing happening in King's Quest, but most of the time it was more either more played for laughs, or it was towards, as Pedro said, towards people that deserved it.
Also, that guy was like quoting. I know I shouldn't call it the 2001 Space Odyssey thing, but that's what everyone calls it nowadays.
Wait. You're talking about what?
Yeah.
Spava Zarathustra.
Yeah, so Spark Zarathustra. It was noted that he loves to sing. Anyway,
It was made by a Hungarian composer, but yes, no, don't worry, Jova. Everybody calls it the 2001 theme. Don't worry.
Anyway, there you go. We're about to finally get a proper reception.
Sa?
Sadi, if you forgot, was the remains of a power plant in Brazil, and while afflicted by radiation sickness, he's still alive. But we'll learn more about that later.
Could
One thing.
Into a monster, most likely.
surprised me a little
Yes,
as
Pedro.
well.
Then it was
It helps Jova that the composer of that, the original composer of that track, actually really loved the use of that movie with the track, and he was perfectly cool with it. So the composer would approve of us calling it that anyway. So.
Oh wow, the composer lived long enough to see that movie come to fruition.
Yeah, he was in the 2001 documentary about Stanley Kubrick stuff.
Sure it will be. Independent
Is
scientists
he still
will have
alive now?
problem
No, he was already super old in that documentary.
Yeah, true. Honestly, I was surprised he was even alive by the time the movie
It's
came.
kind of Jova like, it's a bit
Let
similar.
me check.
It's a bit similar Jova to how Igor Stravinsky was still alive when the first Fantasia was
It
made.
seems the number of your fans increases by the minute, my dear doctor.
I have to talk to him. Please.
Excuse me.
Anyway, before we ruin our reputations any further, let's go talk to Faye.
In here, quickly.
Calm down.
Tell me, how did it go?
What?
The algae. Are the investors
Horribly.
convinced?
Ha! They are thrilled.
Phew. Good.
Yes.
You know, the
one
problem
left,
is I
but
couldn't
now
tell if
to
he was
you.
being sarcastic from that line.
See,
or
here's the
not.
thing. It
How
might
was
not
your
be
physical
immediately
examination?
apparent,
Tedious.
but Svensson is
everything's
deliberately
all right.
lying
Don't
by
worry about
omission
me,
to
I'm
Faye by
fine.
not telling
That's
that he
good to
cheated
know.
the presentation.
You are completely out of breath. What happened?
I got a call from Delvin.
And?
The connection was terrible, but I think he wanted to warn us. Someone plans to attack the oil rig.
Are you sure?
Not completely, but it sounded like that.
Did he tell you anything else?
No, that was all.
It would be too easy otherwise.
Did you get any other messages?
Why? From
And now
whom?
Faye is
From
lying
Salvador?
because
Oh,
she did
no,
receive
I
the
didn't.
message from
I only
Sadi.
heard from Delvin,
So
and as I said,
our
it was a
lovely
short
duo
message.
is lying to each other.
I get
aren't
okay. I
keeping
get
any
why
secrets
Svensson
from me,
is
are you?
lying, but
No.
why is Faye
Why?
leaving out the
Oh.
Saudi bit?
Never mind. Must be being close to this Indez guy. I'm seeing conspiracies everywhere.
Well, you can never know.
Right.
Oh, look at
We have
that. They're
another
starting to
problem,
get
though, I'm
along like
afraid.
friends.
Someone tried to sabotage the presentation.
What? Why would somebody do that?
I have no idea, but they did everything
Is
to
that
prevent the
dicks?
generator from working properly during the presentation. The algae was much weaker than usual.
And yet the investors were convinced?
Yes.
Ah.
It wasn't that much of a problem. I just had someone fetch a better specimen.
That's one way of putting it.
I think you should try and find out more about this attack while I investigate the algae incident.
Okay. Sounds sensible.
See, normally one would think
You
it
are
was
really not
Indus
keeping
that
something from me?
sabotaged the
Nah.
algae,
You?
since,
No.
make it
Well,
weaker
then,
so
see
that
you
only
later.
he would want to buy it,
Then
though
go.
something doesn't feel right still.
Go!
Sadi, come in, please. Ben says the investors are convinced. You must have been wrong.
Dun dun dun!
Uh-oh. Oh no! It's a problem that could have been solved if they told each other the truth.
How will that, pan out? We'll see that in the next part, technically. So see you for that.
In the
no,
meantime,
Pedro.
I wanted to correct myself real quick. I got the tracks for it's Jupiter and Beyond, aka the track that plays during the time traveling. It was right before the ending. Where the composer was Ligeti, the original composer. Like the composer of Asas Papa Zarathustra was much older, so he died way before 2001. But that's it now. But Ligeti, the one who did Jupiter and Beyond, the one where David is going through the black hole and sees himself old. That track, the composer of that track actually got to see the track being used in the movie, and he was very happy about its usage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see ya. Have a nice part, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.